So welcome to the ideation class today. So the first thing we will do is, like I said, everyone should think of a few problems that they would like to solve, and maybe that's where we'll begin. Who wants to volunteer to be the first to give us that problem, so everyone can be aware of it? What is the problem that someone wants to bring up, so we can do the brainstorming session on it? Who wants to go first? Guys, need some support here. Yes, go ahead, Ola.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah. The pain point I've noted is the introduction of contactless means of payment for ATM users, especially in developing countries, e.g., Nigeria. I know it's common here in diaspora in UK, US, but it's not even at all in Nigeria and other African countries. And there is more popular use of POS in Nigeria, OPay, PAMPay, MoneyPoint, and like that. So if contactless is being introduced, it will serve as lot of benefits, such as customers will be so saved from pin theft, and to be so quicker and more convenient payment method for them. It will even be time saving, and it can be given to a third party on an errand without having to reveal your ATM pin. So these have seen as kind of pain point in which consumer or customers or end service users will be very interested when it is introduced there in countries such as Nigeria. So
Okay. So you've highlighted a problem here with regards to payment, and so you think you believe contactless payment isn't as prevalent, and POS points where people go into withdraw funds, those are very popular, and if we can introduce it,
use contactless.
so point of payment that can accept contactless payment. So from your point of view, that means a software and a hard. This is a software and a hardware problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need a software, one, and also a hardware. But let's say a company. So you can be solving the software piece, and another company can find a partner that will provide the hardware. So in this case, we can resolve from this perspective, and someone else will provide that. That's fine. These are decisions that companies would usually make. So fine, you join one of these startups in Nigeria, or maybe an existing company, GTP Bank, and they want to solve this problem. So that's why I always say, let's not think from a startup or an existing company. Just think of it as being a problem. Anyone can solve it. Could be a big company, medium company, small company, or a company that doesn't even exist. If it's a problem, anyone can solve it. In the same manner that we've seen companies solve problems in the past. The same way WhatsApp saw a problem and solved it. They didn't say, well, we don't exist already, so we don't think we'll be able to solve this. It's about, do you have a good idea? That's what we should focus on. Because a company that already exists, the BBC, for example, could identify a gap in the market and then proceed to resolve it, because it's a pain point that users are having. So should always focus from that perspective. I love the way you use the word pain point, because this is all that really matters. Are we solving a pain point? So, with this being said, so just to summarize then, so what did you have written down as a core problem?
Yeah, core problem would be lot of time taking for completing a transaction before the introduction of this. And more so, in the case of theft, a user can easily log on back to his or her phone and block the access. So it has to do with everyone being at alert with how to contact with their customer care, or whether with USSD code or whatever. Because I know the other aspect will be that, what if the ATM is being snatched from the third party? Maybe a mother sent a son or daughter an errand with a contactless, whereby you can just wave it over and make use of it. And along the line, case of theft, phone theft is common, especially in Nigeria. Along the line, the ATM got snatched automatically. The person who snatched it can easily make use of withdrawal. So this, I believe, will also be a problem for making it achievable in such a country. However, if customers have been told that, okay, whether with or without your internet, there should also be a USSD code, or even whether with your phone or whosoever, you can just get a phone, someone else's phone. As soon as you notice your ATM is misplaced, stolen, or damaged, or whatever, the means of blocking it could be as easy as whether it is your own phone or not. So all these are measures whereby customers can use to get off from such a problem, because I know that would be the most common thing which may make it not working in such a developing countries. So, but if that one is being put aside, customer will now be told of the greater advantage of it rather than the disadvantages. It saves time, and customer can even be doing one thing or the other, yet someone else can do that on his behalf instead of being there physically. Then the idea of signature or pin, whereby someone behind could even get access to the digits, is no longer there in the contactless. Once you just swipe over or wave it, then the deal is done. It will then go a long way assisting the entrepreneur, the POS owner, whereby there are a lot of queues in the course of inputting PIN or forgetfulness. If it is swiping of the ATM card, the moment it is swiped and the money drops in his own POS account, then the transaction, the deed is done, so he can quickly attend to another customer. Thereby, it will minimize cost for him, and the profit will be maximized. So these are my...
Okay, thank you for that. So with regards to that, so you can see we've put here pain point. I think before I decide on the depth of how, because this alone can take us 2 hours. So you can see we don't have time like that. We're time poor. And so I'm trying to decide on the depth of how we should go.
Okay.
Yeah, so to do so, I need to know how many people would love to introduce their ideas today in the same way that you've done. So La has given us a template here, which is you tell us the pain point, the problem, and then this is how I can help you to flesh it out. And some of the key takeaways you learn from that is how to introduce an idea in a brainstorming session, and then how to then get everyone involved for conversation. So again, once you establish what the pain point is a contactless payment service that would help people to prevent scams and reduce their details from being stolen or even their money. So that would be the pain point. What could we do from a solutions perspective? That's where everyone can start brainstorming. Yeah, that's when that becomes a question. We know what the pain point is. Now, how might we resolve this? Then now everyone in the class will start throwing ideas. And again, in ideation, as we learned last week, there are no silly ideas, right? So everyone starts throwing in ideas because there are various ways to resolve that. But we cannot resolve, this in here. We need to know how many people in here plan on sharing their ideas today. Then we'll know whether we'll have the time to go through all of them. So, just so I know how many people plan on sharing, guys, if you can just indicate. So there's Ola. If this is all we have, then we can do a full brainstorming session with Ola's idea. Go ahead, Nonya.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Actually, I didn't have any idea. I just came up with one now, so I don't know.
Good. So I'll say write it down and keep hold of it. So we'll go through Ola's one, then we'll come to yours. And so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? So we have Ola and Nonye idea. Anyone else have any idea that would love to go through this framework of expanding it further?
Excuse me. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, Justin.
Hi.
Sorry, I had something in mind, but haven't addressed Noye. I think I'll follow suit. I have to bring more structured idea. But what I had in mind was what I was complaining of the other day. Having a cohort of apps, particularly when
Sorry, Justin. If you have an idea, we'll go through it in the framework in the order. Ola's idea, Nonye, and then yours. So we'll get there and you can tell us more details.
Okay.
So
all right.
Write it down so you don't forget. But essentially, we know that we have 3 workshops we can do today. Does anyone else want to join? So we have 3. Anyone else? Okay. If you change your mind and you do have an idea, please message Godfrey, and he will write that down and he will let me know so we can go through that order with you. So right now we'll go through Allah's idea, and again, I'm not sure how conversant we all are with Miro, so that's something else. So there are 2 ways we can do this. Everyone can, in terms of brainstorming, you can tell me what ideas you have and I can write them down. Or I will share a link and then you can join this Miro board and add the ideas yourself. What would you prefer?
I think adding the idea ourselves for better understanding of how Miro works is fine.
Okay, but that's not how you learn Miro. You can learn it by practicing yourself, just creating a board and playing around with it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just thinking from a time perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
But of course, I will share the link. Anyone with the link can edit. But I don't want you guys to be limited. Once you get the link, join. If you aren't able to join because you've joined the meeting on your phone, it's fine. Just shout your ideas or type them in the message, and I'll be able to input them. So I've shared a link in our chat here. If you click on that, can you all see my screen? So within messages, if you click on that link, you should be able to join the board, and then we can brainstorm. I will also share that link on our Slack. I'll share it in general. So in general, if you just click on there, you see a link to join. I'll do channel so everyone is notified. So I can see some people are here. Welcome, guys. Fantastic. You guys have created a Miro account. Brilliant. And if you all come to me, I'll bring you to me. Bring everyone to me. I'm here. This is where we should be. And what is Ola's key problem that we're trying to solve? A contactless payment service. Okay, so if we can begin. So here we've had our last problem. I'll reiterate it again. The problem that he has identified is that there are limited use of contactless services in Africa, not just in Nigeria. And if there was a payment service that enabled people to pay contactlessly when they're either buying for things, it would reduce the level of fraud and scams that exist in the market. So the friction here that he's trying to resolve is to help people pay for things seamlessly. So a service that allows people to come in and pay contactlessly. So this service essentially, from a user's perspective, is to help me pay for things by just touching my card, and that's it. That's the service. So how might we, question we're trying to then brainstorm here is, how do we go about doing this? How could we do this? What comes to your mind? We're in a workshop. No idea is too silly. No idea is too small. No idea is too big. Anything that comes to mind, let's brainstorm it here. For those that are listening, if you don't have access to Miro, that's fine. You're not limited. Tell me, I will add it. So for those that are in Miro, I'm adding these sticky notes. Just click on any of them and input your idea. Anything else you need? Do you want anything explained any further about the problem? It's a workshop, guys. In a workshop, we just, we have conversations. If anything is not clear, say it, but we can't be silent in a workshop. We have to be, discussing. If something is unclear, you say it, and Ola can provide more context. He's our key stakeholder here. He's the one that cares about the problem, so he's a stakeholder. If you were in a company, you have the stakeholder there that cares about the problem. And if he isn't there, then Ola effectively would be, representing, maybe it could be a message, in which case we have it here. We have the problem here, well articulated. It's all around contactless payments. And we know the region, it's an African continent, in Africa, payment services that exist, you have to put in your PIN, and that exposes it to a certain level of risk. So we're here trying to resolve that problem. So we suggest ideas. So I'll add one. We could have something like a spending limit restriction. You could also have a daily spend limit. So contactless payment service, that's the problem. How do we resolve that problem for users? So let's put here, customers spend lots of time to complete payment transactions. Guys, are we okay? Do we have, ideas what to put in? Is there anything I could add? Suggestions? We understand the problem. Now we're looking at what might be a possible resolution to that problem. Yeah, so you identify the problem, which we've expanded upon, and then now we try to expand on some possible solutions to that problem, which is where your ideas are welcome. Nothing is too silly. The link is here on the chat. If you click on the chat, I'll share it again. Yeah, the link is on the chat. Yeah. So got some great ideas here. Having the option to turn off contactless payment, that's a great one. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You have, daily spend limits, have some security features. And that's the key thing, that at this point, we don't really have to have all the answers to the solution. What we need to have is just a clear understanding whether this problem is even worth our attention. It's not every problem that Facebook wants to solve. It's not every problem that most companies want to solve. Some problems are worth solving, some are just not. So you look at the problem holistically, so you highlight the pain point, you highlight the possible resolution to those pain points, and then in the end, you can make some high-level estimation, but let's go one step at a time. Let's focus on just some possible resolution, which is what we're looking at right now. So we have public awareness about contactless withdrawals. Yeah, so this is on promotion, some PR. Anything else? So you can build relationships with Okay, let's stop here and let's review what we have. So start from the problem. So what is the problem that Ola has identified? The problem is essentially, can we provide a value proposition that enables contactless payments? Why is that? That currently in our current payment ecosystem in Africa, there are lots of POS services, particularly in Nigeria. If I went to a POS to withdraw money, they would literally take my card and put it in and then require me to put a PIN to withdraw money. Is that correct, Ola?
Yes.
Okay. And that exposes that customer to a risk. What is a risk? That they may clone my card. There are some, and this isn't just a Nigerian thing. In the West, some, cash withdrawal machines are compromised. In certain neighborhoods that I go to, I would never withdraw money from there. If I don't have cash, I don't, bother going to withdraw money. I just go and we'll try to deal with the problem. I'll try to deal with the problem. Perhaps whatever I needed cash for, I'll just leave it because it's not safe. So, and this is why in some, sorry, could you mute yourself for a bit? I can hear you. Yeah. That's why in some, with some banks, they now have, they now have contactless cash withdrawal. So I come in and tap, and I can withdraw money in those cash withdrawal machines. So it's been resolved in a different way. So our last suggestion is that retailers, there should be a solution out there. There should be a solution that enables people to come and to withdraw money from POS centers or make payments or in any form. If I want to process a transaction, I can do so contactlessly. And that solution will resolve potential scams, would also save time and any friction or any other friction that may exist. Friction is just describing the problem that currently exists. And then, so what are the key takeaways? We learned that to resolve this problem, it's in two forms. It's a software base. We are software product managers. Hardware will be dealt with by people, more engineering, who would build the physical capability. So what would our hardware be like? We deal with the software, and someone else will bring the solution from a hardware perspective. So that's one of the key takeaways that we learned, is that we're going to deal with a software capability, and that means ultimately building that contactless payment service, and it will resolve two things: prevent scams and also save people time. And then we get to potential brainstorming for what that solution might look like. We're saying such a solution would reduce the number of time people spent completing transactions. And so to do so, that could expose risk to maybe people spending too much. Maybe if someone clones your card or your card is compromised, it could lead to people being able to use, could potentially compromise you, because they'll be able to spend a lot of your money by just touching. So to combat that, we could potentially introduce spending limit restrictions. So if you spend up to, let's say, £100, that would be it. We could also even dig further down and introduce a daily spend limit. And so if someone was to spend more than this, then they would have to confirm that they are who they say they are. And so there will be some security measures essentially within the app, or by them phoning the company to pass those security checks. And then that would lead to the relaxation of the spend limit. And so thereby you're protecting people as well. And then some of the things that could happen would be having the option to turn off the contactless, because as a genuine customer, that could annoy me. If I'm trying to buy things and I'm having restrictions or limits imposed upon my spending for the day, I can get upset. So there is the option to pass security, and once you pass security, we can relax your spend limits for that day, and then those spend limits will kick in the next day again. And then we also need to push some public awareness and training about contactless withdrawals. If you go to a POS, there is now ways that you can withdraw your money without having to put in a PIN and compromise yourself, have someone, steal your card or clone the card or literally put their nose and figure out what your PIN is. So all of those potential risk would be reduced or eliminated completely. And then someone has said here that we could also have a 2-step verification using face identification before payment is successful. That's another way. We could also build relationships with, the banking sector that would allow us to grow and have this feature provided by, all the banks in Africa, for example, once we become trustworthy. So in here, we've seen two things. We've seen more expansion of how the problem could solve, it could reduce a lot of headaches for people. We've seen some suggestions on high-level features. We've seen some suggestions on how we can, grow the awareness, public awareness of this feature being available. There's no point of the feature being available if people aren't aware of it. So that's what we've seen here, and that's indicative of what you will see in a brainstorming, workshop. So you will highlight that there are no silly ideas. Everything is captured, and then at the end of it, as a product manager, you will take these and draw some insights. So currently what we have there, we can use these and put it into a framework of what problem are we trying to solve. Now we can put that here. So we can give it a name and say, let's say Sarah is someone that we're trying to solve this problem for Sarah. Sarah is in, Lagos, and she has problem using POS because she's had really bad experiences. She's had her card cloned, she's had money stolen, and she doesn't want that to happen again. And so what she needs is our platform. A platform like ours will really help her. So what does she want? So put it the necessity for Sarah to help resolve her pain point. She needs a contactless payment service. Why? Because it would reduce the chances of her having her money stolen again. So name of the user, this is, you give it a name. So fictional in this case. Sarah is someone that needs a contactless payment service because what are some of the insights? Why does she need a contactless payment service? Because she wants to prevent her card details being compromised. That's one. Prevent scams, and not just the negative side of things, but also positively for effortless, just say seamless payment. So essentially you come into a POS, how much do you need? I need 20K. And then they they make the total. And once they get the total, I will then tap on the POS, and that's it. It goes through. And that's the seamless payment element of it. And then what else? To save time. So these are the key insights that we've discovered from the problem. So what problem are we trying to solve? The problem is a contactless payment service for withdrawing money. Hola?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's fine. You are there.
Okay.
I suggest we could also add a number of times Sarah discovered she has been going to bank to replace her ATM card to damage from input and removal from the POS machine. So contactless will have saved her from all sort of, in a sense, it only requires swipe. It only requires swipe on the machine. So
Correct.
there won't be need for her to go to the bank for replacement of her ATM card.
Yeah, spot on. So there are some non-direct benefits. So the benefit of having contactless could be indirectly reducing your journeys or trying to reduce the number of times which you order a replacement card because it's not going through all of that stress of being entered so many times. And so these are some of the indirect benefits. But essentially, what we've learned from this, then, we are aware of what the problem is. This is a payment solution. We can articulate this even better now. And we can put it essentially here, a payment solution to enable users to withdraw money from POS retailers
seamlessly.
Yeah, so it's not for payment, clearly, and that's the articulation of problem. Once you understand the problem, and then now the solution, what we're getting last week was, how do I know that's the right solution? That's, as long as you understand the problem, the right solution for it, there is never this is perfect. That solution would evolve over time. So don't worry about what you can't control. Worry about the things that you can do. So the problem we've identified here, a payment solution to enable users to withdraw money from POS retailers seamlessly. And that's the problem we're trying to solve. So Ola, I would compose all of this and share with you.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Ola. That was a great example.
Thank you.
That's okay. Nonye, your turn. Let's go. Tell us, what's the problem you've identified?
Hi. Okay. So I don't know if this makes sense, but the idea I have is in Africa, we have very busy women.
Right.
And they have this problem of carrying out house chores. So the idea is to have a platform where they can order help for the chores.
Right.
So that's the idea.
For house. Is it just house chores? What kind of chores?
Yeah, house chores, housekeeping, laundry and all that.
Yeah. Another great idea. Again, I think maybe this comes with confidence. I know you guys have plenty of ideas. You're just maybe unsure of how to go about that. But this is a great idea.
Nanny, taking care of kids, like children. Yeah. Yeah, house chores generally.
Cleaning, gardening.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Can you contribute to this?
Car washing.
Good one. Yeah, car washing. Great.
And maybe picking up the kids from maybe if the school bus drops them off at some place, it can be picked up.
Picking up children, that's a great one as well. And maybe even a car driving service, right, to drop off the kids.
Gardening.
Yeah, dropping off the children to school or wherever they need to go. Yeah, we've got gardening. Maybe even, what about yourself? Maybe you want to go somewhere, that person supports potentially. Okay, maybe not.
And then maybe like getting some groceries from the store.
Food shopping, groceries. Yeah. Brilliant. So far, because we can go on forever. What does this sound like? Does this sound like a hardware and software problem, or does it sound like just a hardware problem, a software problem?
Both.
Okay. How might this be a hardware problem?
Because we need to build like a platform where this can be, we can get help to do all this.
Okay. I can provide some more context around this. So a hardware is like, you need to think of how people are gonna access it. From how would they get to it, and then software is like, with such a platform that we have here, people can download an app. That's software. Can download an app and create an account and join that platform, and then that's all they need. So there's no hardware. Like, I can use my phone. So that's the hardware that I need. So that bridge, therefore, to get this solution launched, all we would need is just to develop an app, and that would be it. Whereas in Ola's problem, we identified that there needs to be, because you're going to have the POS people. They need to upgrade their hardware to now accept our software. So that's why we needed a hardware. Whereas
and we even have competitors. I mean, those also in the fintech companies, the best order of the fintech, which they also pick from the idea in the sooner time.
Spot on. So, in your idea, brilliant idea, by the way, Nanye, this is perfect, because this is how technology has evolved through the years. In that, in the West, we have so many such platforms that people are coming up with things like this, and they are blowing. I can see this in real life actually being very much, because there's so many things you can do to create credibility. So let's stick to it. Let's not be distracted on how great it is. So this will be a software problem. Why? Because all we need to do is build an app and launch. And anyone that has an Android device can go in the Android Play Store and download the app, create an account, and then post a job. And likewise, anyone that doesn't have a job at home and they need to make some money, they can join this platform, and we can, let's give it a name. I mean, please don't take this name as being what it needs to be called. We can call this, for instance, just to help us contextualize, Nonye help or something. Do you have a quick name in mind?
Be my head or something.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say helper, right?
Okay.
Download helper, or I don't know. Yeah, let's just call it whatever. Don't get like specific.
Help away. Help.
Sorry? Help away. Okay, that's fine. Call it help away. Great. So someone goes in on the App Store and downloads help away and creates an account and goes on to do all of these things we've just said. So this is what you will call a two-sided platform. You need buyers and you need sellers. So sellers will be me at home. I want to sell labor. Buyers would be sitting at home. They need money. So they buy my labor, I pay them, and they provide the service. Win-win for everyone. And then Helpaway is a platform that's facilitating this labor. This is a common business model that you see in today's society, enabled by tech. So what do we do from here? We know what the problem is. So what are the key takeaways of this problem? Let's see if we can break it further down. Key takeaways that we understand. We start with what is a problem? So a service that helps. Do you want to try break it down? This is part of that practice. Does anyone want to try and break it down? Like summarize the problem?
Okay.
If you had to explain this to your son, let's say you have a 2-3-year-old son and they're like, what are you working on? How would you explain it to them? You can say an app.
Housekeeping services.
Yeah. Housekeeping service. Guys, chip in, jump in at any point. A housekeeping service. Go ahead. We could have many of these. If you don't like how this was constructed, you can give me another version.
A service that renders support for house chores.
Yeah, we have one full one. Anyone else want to have a go? Here's just a concise summary of what we're trying to produce. What is the service?
Okay, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe something like a general home service.
A general home service. Okay. Anything else? Anyone has anything else to add? So we can see they're all, really describing the same problem, the same holistic summary of the problem that we've gone through here, but in a different manner, just to show you that there is no right or wrong way. There is just, what you've chosen, and that should be it. That should be enough. That once you explain it, everyone else should be able to understand. Anyone else wants to have a go?
I want to call it janitorial.
Sahid, you have your hand up? Sorry guys, when I'm sharing my screen, I only see what I'm shown, so do jump in and interrupt me.
Okay, janitorial services.
Sorry?
Janitorial services.
Okay, a janitorial services. Yeah. Anything else? This is good practice on framing your problem. So this is a proposition. We've outlined it here. We say we want is a platform or serve. I mean, there are different names you can call it. You can call this a service, a platform, reduce it a bit. Okay, call it a platform, an app. What else? These are the common things you can call these, especially anything that goes in the form of an app. You can call it a service, a platform, an app, like you name it. These are some of the words you can use, and that's fine. So a platform, you can call it that if you're trying to be fancy. You can also call it a service. If everyone is clear on what you're saying, then you can reduce it. Depending on who you're explaining to, you can say, an app. Ultimately, that's what we're building, or a website. Ultimately, this will also need to be, it doesn't have to be, it could just be a website, it could just be an app, or it can be a combination. So we want a service, a platform, an app, a website that allows people to list jobs that they have at home, to list housekeeping jobs that they have at home, and advertise those so people that are looking for things to do can come in and maybe bid for those services. And if they win, they then proceed to the next step and they get to, provide those services. So maybe you want people to, for your laundry, you don't just want to go for the first person to come. So it could be that this platform allows people to bid. So you describe what sort of laundry you need, and that's it. And then someone will come in and bid and say, yes, I can do that laundry. I will charge you 20K. Someone else comes in and says, I can do that laundry for 10K. Maybe someone else says 30K. And then ultimately, you look through the bids, and maybe a way to identify whose bid to go with might be what feedback have they had from other people. And that could be an indicator of value, of how good they are. So you go with that person that although they charge more, they have a great reputation on the app. And so you provide you give them that job. And the same thing could be done for everything that we have on the app. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. So let's go with a housekeeping service. Yeah, but you can see there are various descriptions we could have chosen. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll reduce them, just minimize them, and keep the. Okay, and what are the benefits of this platform to our users? It saves them time. They can now use their time to do, for the ones that are listing the label. Now, if I'm trying to wash, I don't have to wash my clothes anymore because I can outsource it to someone to come and do that for me. So I save time. What else? What else might be the benefits? People can earn money. All right? Users can earn money. Nanye? Come on. What are the benefits? Guys, we here?
You save time.
Yeah, users can save time. Users can earn money from the platform. Anything else? Just takeaways. We know what the benefits are, but what are the ones that we should be mostly happy about? Could be financial. As a platform, we can monetize from advertisements. Yeah. So all around, what are the benefits, key takeaways from users, from the service? Okay, for the sake of time, let's leave it there. And then noun, you know what the service is. So what is our core problem that we're trying to solve? Now, we know what the core problem is. We're trying to provide a way for people that need help at home to get help, and also for the people that don't have things to do. Now they can come to our platform and find labor and find things to do to make money. So how might we deliver this service? So now we start thinking from a solutions perspective. How might we bring this to life? We know what the problem is. We've spoken on the pain points. We've spoken on the key takeaway that we hope that could come to life as a result of us launching Help Away. So with that being said, again, the same thing. You guys have the link. Please join back. I will share it again for those that have just joined. The link is here. For those that are unable to join, please, you can tell me what you have to say and I'll put it in for you. So how might we deliver this? What are some of the features that we could have? What are some of the business things we can do? Whether in advertising or in app features that we can have. Let's go. Suggest ideas. It's a workshop, guys. We're meant to be having a conversation. Silence, it means that we don't understand. So if you have questions, let me know. I would be able to clarify, or Nonya can provide some more insight.
Hello?
Yes.
I think there should be a link for some complaints. There are sometimes that you give jobs to some people to do, and they're able to satisfy you.
Sorry, you're not audible.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said there should be a link for complaint of from customers. There are some people that you are going to give job and they're able to satisfy you with what you did. You'll be able to complain that satisfy with job and prospect.
Okay, so I've got here customer reviews. If we can review them based on how they performed, customer reviews based on performance, and then also raising complaints in general for how they carried out, some of the jobs. Thank you for that. Very good point. Anyone else?
Please, can you go by what?
Blog.
Okay.
Sorry?
I thought somebody was talking. I said, can you please go by what we are supposed to suggest? Like,
can we have a session where we can make booking?
What was the last comment?
Okay, I was asking if you could go over what we are supposed to suggest. Like, I'm not too clear on that.
Okay, so we've looked at Help Away. So Nonye provided us with context to the problem. The problem is currently there isn't a service out there for people to get help for their house chores. So if we produce a service that enable people to sought after help for these sorts of things. So maybe if I had housekeeping, jobs at home that I want to get done, I don't have the time to do it. I can list it on this platform. Laundry, nanny services, cleaning, gardening, car washing, picking up children, dropping off children, food shopping. I can list such housekeeping related tasks and people out there can buy those services and do them. So essentially, someone can come in and do my laundry for me. At the end of it, they get paid. This is similar to Uber. You know, I order a ride, they take me to where I'm going. At the end of it, they get paid. Here, someone comes in, buys my laundry, as in buys that job. They come in and do the laundry. They deliver it. I say yes, they've done it. They get paid. Same mindset. That's the problem. And we know what the key takeaways, what are the benefits of such a platform. So again, we reiterate the problem, which is a housekeeping service. And then what can users benefit? Users, the ones that are seeking the help, they can save time. And the ones providing the service, they can earn money. And from a platform's perspective, from Helpaway as a company, they can make money. They can take a percentage from each transaction that goes on. If I list my car washing service, they take maybe 5%, just speculating here, right? They take a percentage of that. That's how they make money. And they can also monetize from, adverts on the platform. So there are various ways they can make money. There is no right or wrong. We need to get past this right and wrong. This is an app. Who's right? The market will tell us whether you're right or you're wrong. If you launch an app and people aren't using it, the market is responding. It's basically telling you your idea is not good. So that's how we get feedback. And then here then, is we're trying to now think of what features might be on this app. So Helpaway as a service, what features can we add? What features can we provide to users? So we can have features
Can
like...
we make a booking?
Exactly.
Booking app?
Sorry, what was that? Booking app? Explain.
Feature,
Yeah, like
feature.
where you can actually click on to book these services.
Okay, so you can say make a booking. So you can make
A blog.
What was the last one?
Blog.
Okay, so guys, let's when we suggest things, again, in the context of when you get your PM role or suggestions, let's expand upon them. So if you say a blog, then you can explain to us all what that means. So what do you mean by a blog?
Okay, to have a blog page for customers to view what the features are all about, or maybe what the housekeeping services are all about.
Okay. To learn about the service. Yeah, so we have a blog page. That's very good. And that's what you join a company tomorrow. This is the same way you would share your feedback and insights on things. You're articulated in a way that everyone else can understand, one, and two, you're contributing to the effective running of a workshop. So very positive. So more of that, please, everyone.
All right.
Can we have
there should be a profile for whichever staff or the worker.
So we can say profile for each user on the app. Everybody on the app would have a profile. Next.
Can we have like an inquiry form and live chats and like a phone calls session? Like you can call one of the.
FAQ. FAQ.
Okay. Now, can we be long for policy of the company? The company we have policy. We have to read it.
Terms and policy.
Users verification, very important.
Great ideas, guys. Well done. This is great. Great
Contact us.
participation. Yeah, what was that?
Contact us and help page.
Yeah, contact us. Yeah, anything else? You can see there's so many things we could do. We could have the bidding. Remember I mentioned.
How about security checks on the workers?
Yeah, so that's the verification. So we can / security checks to find out who that people say they are, who they are. So maybe you can upload your your ID identification. So we can cross check, upload ID. And those ID, that becomes, again, as a PM, you have to think about these things. When you say ID, you could put, some more context around it, such as your international passport. That's one. Your NIN as well. That's another one. What other forms can you use as, ID? Your driving license. Yeah. So, yeah, that's some of the context. So anyone that provides these things, you can check who you are.
Live picture.
In what sense? Tell us how that will provide benefit.
That's for the users. You need to be, that's part of the users and verification. You will need to do a live photo capture so that your face will be identified with your passport.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense? So you can see that when you suggest ideas like that and you provide more context, it becomes clearer for everyone. So again, very useful that we make that a habit, just providing more insights. Okay, this is perfect. I couldn't have added anything else to this. Of course, this is just, phase one, of just having ideas in terms of how you might resolve this pain point that we've identified. There's going to be so many more ideas.
How about user registration? Is it not part of it?
Absolutely. That's why I said there's so many more things you could do. User registration. You can see. So many more things you could do. But at the onset, for now, these are the ones that we've come up with as a group. And then as a PM now, you try to make sense of this. So in making sense of it, we come to our template. So we began with trying to highlight the pain point, right? We said a service, for housekeeping chores, and then some of the benefits, proposed takeaways. And then here, some identification towards a solution. How might we resolve that problem? And then now we try to ensure that we understand it. That's what this is. So if you cannot explain it, then it means you don't understand it. This template helps you to be able to explain it. Because if you can explain it, it means you have an idea of what the problem is. So, someone give me a name, a fictional name, could be any name. So, who might this user be? Just any name, whatever comes to mind.
Sarah.
We've already used Sarah.
Latifa.
Okay, well, that's 2 women. Can we have a guy?
John.
We have a John here.
Akpan.
Sorry?
Akpan.
How'd you spell that?
AKPAN.
Okay, Akban is a user that, what does Akban need? we're saying he has a problem because and then here we create part of being a PM is being able to tell stories. We understand the problem really well. We really do. So we say Akpan is, a man in his, 40s or could be 20s, just at uni, and he has the means financially. So he's looking for a housekeeping. We described it here beautifully. He's looking for a housekeeping service to help him take care of his chores, right? So he has things like gardening, perhaps, washing, dry cleaning, all of those things, cleaning his house at home. These are some of the problems he faces. So necessity is, what does he need? That's housekeeping service. That's what he needs. Who's the user? The user is Akman. What does he need? Housekeeping service. And our surprising discovery of his problem is that he doesn't have the time to do this by himself. So how can we resolve that for him? And we've said here that it's going to be a service for listing his chores, right? He needs a service for listing his chores, and then ultimately people are going to bid for that service, and then he's going to select who he likes. So it's not just because you contacted him, he gives you the job. It's no, our platform is going to be a bidding platform. You bid, so it could be 10 bids for a single post for a dry cleaning. And then Akban comes in and reviews and says, I really like Joe. Joe seems like he will do a really good job, and gives it to Joe. Are we all clear so far?
Yes, please.
Okay. Awesome. So what else did we discover? That we found that we're going to have to verify our users. Verify users, authenticate, verify/authenticate, because you're going to send people to someone's house. We don't want to send murderers, so we need to know who they are, because anything happens, it will be a bad PR for us. Go ahead.
Do we only need to verify the users? How about the person that the worker is coming to? Because some of them may be cycles, so you also need to take them out.
Yeah, that's what users. So users here covers, both the providers. So let's spec that out here, just so we're clear. So we said earlier that this is going to be a two-sided platform. Two-sided platform. So we'll have providers, users that let's say list labor, and then users that buy labor, essentially. All right, that fulfill labor, let's put it that way. All right, so users that provide the labor. So who are the providers, and who are the ones delivering the labor? So that's two-sided platform. This platform will not be successful if all we had was just people listing labor. We need to have people that will provide it. So that's why you call these sort of platforms two-sided. So the guys that provide and the guys that essentially deliver to fulfill it. And so this essentially, you describe these people, you can see they're all users. So the distinction is the type of users that they are. And here then, so when we mean users, you just authenticate every single person that completes a registration. We don't do verifications on just the ones that provide only. We do it for both sides, because I can list labor and be someone that just kills people. So we don't want to put people that are providing that labor in danger as well. So we do checks on everyone. Make sense? Okay, fantastic. And then What else? What other key, so here essentially in insights, we summarize some of the most valuable points that we made here. It's not saying, there are so many more points that we made, but we summarize some of the more valuable ones, the more core ones. We summarize them here just to help us be able to tell that story. We're saying Akban is someone that needs a housekeeping service to help him list his chores, and we're saying we're going to give him the ability to find out which users have been authenticated, and he himself would have to also authenticate himself. So we need to know who he is. So he needs to give us his either driving license, NIN, or passport for us to do the checks. And he's gonna have to create an account. To do so, he needs to create an account and then get access to the app. So maybe put it in the right order. So create an account, goes through verification, and then behold, he can list his jobs. Right? So here is just the core things that we think help us to tell that story. So who's the user? Why is that problem necessary, and what does he need? So necessity. So he needs a housekeeping service. And then what are some of the key takeaways? So again, key takeaways, not listing everything that we've said here, only listing things that you think would help you to complete that story. You're telling a story. Part of being a PM is you have to be a great storyteller. Being able to tell a story that someone hears and they can understand, they can see value in such a platform. So in this case, the core problem that we're trying to solve for Akman is a housekeeping service that would help him list his chores and get people to fulfill those services for him, and then he gets to save time, and he gets to list those jobs, and someone else provides the service. They make money. Akban is happy. We as a business, as a platform, we also make money from it. Everyone is happy. We solve a problem by bringing these two people together. That's our core problem that we're solving. We identify that Akban has a housekeeping need, and we found someone that can provide that via our platform, because they will come, and as we've said here, create an account, and then once we authenticate them, they will gain access to the bidding, and within the bidding they'll make a bid for a job, and Akban will get the final option by reviewing and either accepting or declining. And that is all we have for this. Questions? Are we all clear on this? Any questions to clarify?
Hello?
Yes.
Please, I want to suggest that there are some tools that we use that can't really start. Maybe the way you explained Slack today, now that you understand it very well, maybe you able to do that also just to explain those tools. I was trying to use it during the week, but I'm not getting, creating the box, writing something inside.
Yeah.
And I want to raise an idea. Maybe that would be next. Right?
Sorry, Saeed, I understand, but there has to be some personal time investment. And I can't do that for you. You have to do that for yourself, which is to create an account on Miro and play with Miro. That I cannot do for you. You have to do that. All right? So the way to do that is create an account in Miro and just play with things. When you join any company, they won't give you training on Miro or any other platform. They will tell you to create an account, or they will do that for you, and then you just have to play with it. You come in here, templates. What does this mean? You just uncover, and that's part of being a PM. your ability to just figure things like this out. Yeah? So that I can't do for you. Yes, I can show you, but then I'm not helping you if I do that.
No problem. What about okay, we have other ideas we can raise it next week, right?
Absolutely. So we've got the ideas for, we only had time to go through two. So I think for everyone, because we have so much to learn, so we cannot be using 2-3 sessions to go through ideas. So I would hope that today's session, let me mute you for a sec, Saeed. I will hope that today's session has given everyone the tools. So when I said ideation last week, this is what I meant. So has given everyone a tool to then take and put their idea through the same things that we did today. So you can rewatch our recordings for today to see what has been done and then try to emulate and do that for your idea. You don't need to do that. You can do it. You can do it with people, or you can do it by yourself. Either way you choose to do it, it's a skill, because there are times you will join a company and they will ask you to come up with an idea, and then you can use this platform, a similar framework here, to brainstorm the problem and communicate it in a way to your manager or to your team. And it may be that everyone in the team is busy and they expect you to be a professional, to be able to come up to do this on your own. And then everyone will then provide feedback and say, we see what you've done. You thought of a housekeeping service. Okay, well, this is nice. However, we can do something else. Maybe we'll just limit it to laundry and nanny service only. Do you see how everyone else can enhance the idea? So you've thought of making it cover so many things, gardening, car washing. Then everyone can say, let's be focused. Let's keep it to laundry only, for example. Or let's keep it strictly to just nanny service. So, these are the various ways that everyone else can contribute. But initially, it's just you being able to take the initiative and drive down a pain point that you've identified, and then gain a high level understanding of the problem, and then some high level way to solutionize for it, and then proceed to making it clear in a story form. We say Akman needs a housekeeping service. Why? So he can list the jobs that he has. And that means he's saying there are people out there that will benefit from doing this job and making money for themselves, and he pays for that service. We've spoken here deeply on how this could be done. So now, as a PM, it's about creating this in the template that I shared last week, and that will be the first thing. So for everyone, if you can follow these principles, the first thing is think on the pain point that you want to solve. So here, Nanya told us is going to be to get help for house chores. That's how she framed it initially. And then the more she kept saying to get help for house chores, the next thing that came to her mind was potentially housekeeping. And then that's what led to us, zoning down to a housekeeping service. So it's the same thing. Highlight the pain points, and then you will see the similarities in what you're listing, and that will give you an idea for what type of service you're potentially going for. And you may say, this is easy for things that maybe brand new ideas, but no. And if you're doing this for a Monzo, for example, or a digital bank that already exists, you will be given a clear guide. The clear guide is, we are a bank that already exists. We just want to optimize our services. So your guide would be, what additional things could we do? That's the first question. Second question is, what else can we do really well? So if, for example, this Help Away app already existed, and you've joined this company, and let's say the company has been running for 10 years, and you've now come and you can see that these are all the pain points that they solve. And all of these things are available within the app. So they've told you, we need to be better. So now you can say, how can we be better? Well, they said, you go figure it out. You go figure it out. So you can come in, download the app, play with the app, and by doing so, you can come up with an idea. You can see that maybe the live chat needs to be enhanced. And your thinking is, if the live chat is enhanced, then we can reduce some of the problems that people are having. That could be an idea. See, the whole point of this is just to have ideas. Enhance the live chat. Another idea could be maybe bidding for jobs. It's not so great. We can enhance this capability. That could be another idea. So there are various ways to pull up ideas. You can pull up ideas based on an existing service, or an idea based on a service that doesn't exist. So Nonye's idea is based on a service that doesn't exist. John's service is based on a service that doesn't exist. So what we've seen today, we've seen ideas for two services that doesn't exist. So what might have been nice to have would have been an idea for a service that does exist. But nevertheless, it's all still the same thing. The only difference is you will be with ideas for a service that already exists. The difference is you would have to stay within the realms of the service that has been launched. So if this was WhatsApp, for example, you would then have to, give ideas of a pain point that exists pertaining to things that have been launched. So maybe your idea could be, let's make sure that people can, make three-way calls. At the moment is, it could be that the three-way calls that exist, it's only restricted to when it's only good when you are on Wi-Fi, and perhaps it's not as good when you're on data. So that could be it. That could be the idea. And then you go down to trying to clarify how that is a pain. How does that disrupt people from using WhatsApp? And then continuing with the key takeaways. How does it benefit the users, and how does it benefit the company? And then you produce some potential solutions to resolving that problem. And then you try to communicate it in a storytelling format. So who's the user? What is it that they need? And then some key insights based on the potential solutions. So I'll stop here. Any questions?
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so as a PM, when you're done with it, what next? Like, what do you now do? Do you hand it over to developers to develop the app, or just stop at this?
Great question. And I think we'll go through the steps. I don't want to, let's stay in the present. Let's focus on doing this as though this is all we have to do, because it's a step by step. There are about 8 different process. There are 8 different steps before we get to developers. But at this phase, because we're in an agile environment, we can bring developers to help us. If we do have them, we can involve them in our workshopping. What we did today would involve anyone that we believe will have something good to say or something bad to say. We capture everybody's idea. If our engineering team is present, we can invite them to the workshop. So this is just phase 1. The next phase would be in putting it in that framework that I shared last week. So what I will do is I'll compose this in a Word doc and share with you, and perhaps even put it in that framework for you, which is what is the high level elevator pitch. So what is what are we doing, which is the high-level elevator pitch would be a housekeeping service for helping those in need at home to list their services. That would be the high-level elevator pitch. And then we then explain the problem, and then we'll move on to explaining a potential solution. So you can see the potential problem we've explained here, a potential solution we've explained here, and who might be our core users. All of these things, I provided them to you guys. So I'm not speaking hypothetically. I've provided all of these things in formats. See, they're all here. Idea proposals. So I hope you all should be, when I mention them, it should be ringing a bell. In our idea generation template, in our idea proposal template. So they're all there. So being able to articulate the problem, articulate a potential solution, and then be able to say who might benefit from that solution. That's all we had to do for the proposal. And then once we put it in that format, it will then be for the next phase. What we'll then do is to start doing the next level, which is prioritizing what we need to do. You can see there are so many things here. We don't have unlimited time. We don't have unlimited money. So if we don't have unlimited time and money, then we need to reduce and focus on the core things that we need to do. So what are the core things that we need to do? That's what we zone down to. So what I would suggest moving forward would be, because we have a course curriculum that we're trying to follow, and we can't have, if we do this, then it can take us the whole year to finish this. We don't have a whole year to finish this course. So we have a restricted time. So I would, literally employ everyone to apply everything we do. Product management comes with practice. Without practice, it's really difficult. So that was the whole idea of everyone having an idea. Then what we learn in our sessions will then be applied to your product. That's where the difficult thinking will come in, because it's not easy to think of these things. But in going through that difficulty of thinking it out, you will learn so much more. So the whole point of this is to help you to apply. So in the same way we've done today, we can't sit and do this for every single idea. That's not possible. So what is possible is you watch the video, go back and watch the video today, and then use the same technique to elicit your problem. So a pain point, key takeaways, what is the service? What are the potential solutions to it? And then communicate it in a manner that anyone would understand. So in a storytelling format. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I have a question, but it's not really on this one. It's on a proposal.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I was going through your flight scanner proposal, and I noticed that there was nothing said about how the company was going to make money.
Good question, or good comment. I think as PMs, we may not have answers on how the company makes money. You could see here, for example, we've said here in Noye's idea that we can monetize from, advertisements. That's something that we can always brainstorm whenever, but it's not the focus of this. The focus of this is to understand the problem, the potential solution, and who might be the users. If we provide some additional insights on how we could make money, that's just a bonus. Does it make sense? Just to illustrate that point, in Ola's idea, we didn't have how we make money. You see, we focus on the core things, the problem, potential solution, and how in a story format, how anyone else can understand it, and who might be the core users. We said this was going to be your POS retailers and anyone that subscribes to paying contactlessly. That was it. So our focus then yes, it's nice to think, keep an eye on the money making, side of the business, but it's not the core focus at this phase. If you do have insights on it, yes, add it. As you can see here, we had the insights, we added it, but it's not the main focus, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Any more questions, guys? Okay, I'm tempted to say moving forward that Nonye, we use your idea as our core learning. We use this as our core learning, or if everyone is happy with that, we can either use Nonye's one of Help Away, this service, or we can use Ola's idea, or we can use Flight Scanner. So we can use one of those three, and then in our sessions together, we'll learn about product things, and we'll also practice. We'll put it in practice on whichever service that we pick, which is, if we pick the contactless payment service, all our things that we learn that are practical will be applied to this. And then everyone can then take the examples that are applied to this to apply to an idea that they have. And then collectively, that's what we'll be doing. And if you have questions on how to apply it to your idea, that's where you can, at the beginning of the classes, or maybe, during the week, you can, articulate it and then, share it on Slack, and then we can take it from there and try to help you apply the concepts to your idea. How do we all feel about that?
Makes sense.
It's okay. Nice.
Okay. And that will allow us to, learn. We don't want to take the whole year to try and deliver this. So it's going to have to be a collaborative effort from everyone. We only had time to go through 2 of these. And so for everyone then, if you could, use the concepts that you've learned from this session today to help you narrow down on to gain that understanding of a problem that you would like to move forward with. And then once you do so, you can equally create a board. If not, don't worry, that's okay. You have more chances to do so. But if you're not able to, just use this template that I shared, the idea proposal, just put it there. The only difference here has just been it's more in a collaborative format. And if you think it's too difficult, then perhaps you can create a board. Everyone should have access to Miro. Create a board. To share it, you just click on share, and if you see this, anyone with the link can edit. If you select that can edit, and then copy the link and share with me, I can set up a template for you, and then you can go in and populate. I can do that for anyone that shares their link with me. That's how I can help you to do this by yourself. Okay, any questions from here? So next week we would move on with the next phase, which is taking an idea that we've articulated today. It could be the Help Away or Flight Scanner. I think you still need to have your idea, so perhaps you keep your idea, and I'll continue with Flight Scanner. And then you can be taking everything that we do for Flight Scanner, you apply it to Help Away. So the next phase would be for us to start nailing down what are the key things that we like to keep. As I said, time, money, and scope. Those things are critical. We don't have unlimited time. We don't have unlimited money. So we, as PMs, we try to do as much as possible with what we have. So here we start being more pragmatic. So reality kicks in. It could be that for our MVP, we can only deliver 4 or 5 of these things. The rest of them, we'll have to create a product roadmap to do so. And one thing I will say again is I hope that we can be patient with the process. This is all a process, that it's a step-by-step thing. If you jump from step 1 and you start thinking about step 6, then you're not being present in the current step, and that would impede your learning, because then you're rushing the process. So if we master every phase, let's say in 6 to 8 weeks time, you will see that every phase that came, you mastered it. And when you combine everything together, you'll be an expert. So it can't be, us thinking about the next stage. Let's focus on every phase and truly master it. Because then in 10 weeks time, we'll look back and think, I have all that I need because I've mastered every phase. So that would be my request to everyone, to be patient with the process and learn from every week that we come together. Okay, so next week, we'll move on to the next phase. Any other question, comment, insights, feedback?
None from me.
Great. Okay, then that's all. Thank you all for today.